Michigan is home to many mysterious and haunted ruins that hide chilling stories from the past. Scattered across forests, parks, and old towns, these crumbling places once held life and laughter, but are now silent and eerie. From forgotten churches and abandoned missions to decaying park structures, each ruin has its own ghostly tale. Visitors and locals have reported strange sounds, ghostly figures, and cold winds that seem to whisper the secrets of Michigan's haunted history. Now we will visit the most haunted ruins in Michigan. Number 1. The Holy Family Orphanage. The Holy Family Orphanage in Marquette, Michigan, stands as one of the most chilling ruins in the state. Once a proud refuge for children, it now sits abandoned, its walls cracked and windows shattered, echoing memories of pain and loss. Built in the early 1900s, it was meant to offer safety, yet many believe it became a place of suffering. The ruins now draw visitors who speak of ghostly figures, strange sounds, and icy winds that seem to carry forgotten cries. One haunting incident involves a young girl who died of pneumonia during a brutal winter. With the ground too frozen to dig a grave, her body was left outside until spring. People claim her soft sobs still drift through the cold air at night. Another speaks of a strict nun whose harsh discipline frightened the children. Witnesses say her presence remains inside the building, whispering prayers and slamming doors when darkness falls. Some explorers report seeing faint silhouettes watching from shattered windows, vanishing when approached. The eerie silence of the dorms often breaks with distant footsteps, as if unseen children still move through the halls. A former caretaker is said to have vanished without a trace. Locals believe his restless spirit guards the entrance, warning trespassers to turn back before it's too late. Then, there is the bell that once called orphans to meals. Though long removed, it is said that its echo sometimes rings faintly through the night. The Holy Family Orphanage remains a decaying monument to sorrow, a place where the past refuses to rest and the air still hums with the presence of lost souls. Number 2. Saginaw Potter Street Station. The Saginaw Potter Street Station in Michigan stands as a haunting reminder of a once thriving era now swallowed by silence. Built in the late 1800s, this grand Victorian structure was once alive with passengers, the sound of steam engines, and bustling energy. Now it lies in decay, its cracked floors and faded walls holding on to the echoes of those who passed through. Many believe the station's past has left behind restless spirits that still wander its darkened halls and empty platforms. Visitors often speak of a woman in old-fashioned clothing seen waiting on the platform long after midnight. She seems lost, staring down the tracks for a train that never comes and fades away when anyone approaches. One chilling account describes a railroad worker who died in a tragic accident when a train derailed nearby. On foggy nights, his ghostly lantern is said to swing slowly through the mist, glowing red before vanishing into the darkness. Some claim to hear distant footsteps echoing across the abandoned lobby, followed by the sound of a train whistle from a line that no longer exists. The air turns cold and shadows move where no one stands. There are also reports of a spectral conductor seen inside the building, pacing back and forth as though still trying to manage a long-gone schedule. His faint voice murmurs, "All aboard," before fading into silence. A local legend tells of a child who disappeared while traveling with her family. Her laughter is said to echo faintly through the corridors at dusk. Others have witnessed flickering lights and felt unseen hands brush against them. The Saginaw Potter Street Station remains one of Michigan's most haunted ruins where history and the supernatural still meet beneath a crumbling roof. Number 3. Belle Isle Zoo. The Belle Isle Zoo ruins in Detroit, Michigan, rest quietly among overgrown trees and crumbling walls, whispering of a once lively place now claimed by nature and mystery. Once filled with laughter, families, and exotic animals, the zoo closed decades ago, leaving only empty cages, broken paths, and a heavy silence. Time has worn the stone and steel, but many who visit say something other than time lingers here. Unseen eyes that still watch from the shadows. One eerie incident involves the cries of animals long gone. Late at night, people walking nearby have heard roars, howls, and screeches echoing through the ruins, even though the cages have been empty for years. Visitors also describe seeing a misty figure of a zookeeper, still making his rounds with a faint lantern light. Some believe he's searching for the animals he once cared for before dying on the job. There are claims of ghostly children running along the paths, their laughter fading into the night air. Locals say they might be the spirits of those who once visited and never left. A chilling experience was reported by a photographer who felt something tug his camera strap. Though no one was near, the air suddenly turned icy, and whispers surrounded him before he fled. Some have seen a shadowy panther-like shape darting between ruins, vanishing when approached, perhaps the restless spirit of one of the zoo's old predators. Others mention glowing eyes staring from dark enclosures, blinking slowly before disappearing into nothingness. The Belle Al Zoo ruins remain a haunting symbol of forgotten joy, where the past's laughter and sorrow blend together, creating one of Michigan's most unsettling and mysterious ghost sites. Number 4. Iron Mountain Iron Mine. The Iron Mountain Iron Mine in Vulcan, Michigan, lies deep within the Upper Peninsula, where dark tunnels cut through cold rock and silence echoes endlessly. Once a booming site of hard labor and danger, the mine is now a ghostly relic of Michigan's industrial past. Its massive caverns and rusty machinery sit still, but those who dare to explore claim the mine is far from empty. Strange lights, voices, and chilling presences are said to haunt the depths below. Workers once told of a miner who vanished during a cave-in and was never found. Some say his spirit still roams the tunnels, his faint pickaxe tapping against the stone walls in the distance. Visitors have reported the sudden sound of heavy boots echoing through empty corridors, growing louder before stopping just behind them, only to find no one there. A few explorers describe seeing a dim lantern light moving deeper into the darkness, guided by an unseen hand. When they try to follow, it disappears into thin air. One disturbing experience involves the sound of coughing and wheezing, believed to come from the souls of miners who died from toxic air deep underground. The smell of burning metal sometimes fills the air before fading away. Some tourists have felt an icy hand brush against their shoulder as they near sealed tunnels, as if something below is trying to warn them to leave. Others claim that the ghostly figure of an old foreman appears near the entrance, shaking his head and muttering about safety before vanishing into the rock. The Iron Mountain Iron Mine stands as one of Michigan's most haunted ruins, a chilling reminder of the men who never escaped its depths and whose spirits still linger in eternal darkness. Number 5. Packard Automotive Plant. The Packard Automotive Plant in Detroit, Michigan, once symbolized the power and pride of American industry. Now it stands as a massive, decaying ruin stretching across 40 acres, filled with broken glass, rusted beams, and eerie silence. Once bustling with workers and roaring machines, the factory has long since fallen into shadow. Locals say the ghosts of its industrial past have never truly left, and strange events continue to unfold within its darkened halls and echoing corridors. One chilling account tells of a factory worker crushed by machinery in the 1940s. People say his ghost still roams the assembly line, his footsteps echoing across the empty floors where he met his end. Another speaks of the sound of engines starting at night. Even though the factory has been silent for decades, the air fills with the faint hum of motors, followed by the smell of burning oil that quickly fades. Some urban explorers claim to have seen a man in greasy overalls staring from a shattered window, his face pale and expressionless, before vanishing into the dust. A security guard once reported hearing distant laughter and metal clanging during his night shift, only to discover all entrances locked and untouched. He quit the next day, terrified of returning. Others have described a heavy fog filling the lower floors, within which voices whisper orders, and the faint sound of hammering begins, as if invisible workers continue their endless shifts. A more disturbing presence is said to appear near the old office wing, the figure of a foreman pacing angrily, slamming doors and yelling names long forgotten. The Packard Automotive Plant remains Detroit's most haunted industrial ruin, a place where the ghosts of labor and machinery never truly went silent. Number 6. Bay Furnace Ruins. The Bay Furnace Ruins in Munising, Michigan, sit quietly on the shores of Lake Superior, where the remains of an old iron smelting furnace rise like a monument to a forgotten age. Built in the 1870s, this once thriving industrial site burned down in a mysterious fire, leaving behind only stone walls and chilling legends. Surrounded by dense forests and the constant whisper of the lake, the ruins carry an eerie stillness that makes visitors feel they are never truly alone. Locals speak of glowing red light seen flickering within the furnace at night, as if the fires that once melted iron have come alive again, fueled by restless souls trapped in eternal work. Some campers nearby have heard the clang of metal and the rhythmic pounding of hammers echoing through the air, though no one is there. It sounds like the workers of the past still labor deep in the ruins. Another ghostly presence is said to be a blacksmith who perished in the fire that destroyed the site. His shadow appears near the furnace, swinging his hammer in silence before fading into the smoke. Several visitors report hearing deep voices carried by the wind, men shouting orders, iron screeching, and sudden screams that vanish into the night. A fisherman once saw a ghostly figure walking along the shore in burned clothing, glowing faintly before disappearing into the water. Some say it was one of the men who tried to escape the blaze. There are also claims of cold spots and whispers near the furnace walls, where the temperature suddenly drops even in summer. The Bay Furnace ruins remain one of Michigan's most haunted sites, a place where fire, history, and spirits have become forever intertwined. Number 7. Ghost Town of Mandan. The ghost town of Mandan in Keweenaw County, Michigan, lies hidden in the northern wilderness, surrounded by thick forests and the cold wind from Lake Superior. Once a busy copper mining town in the late 1800s, it is now a haunting collection of crumbling foundations, rusted tools, and overgrown paths. The silence here is heavy, broken only by the distant rustle of trees. Many believe that the spirits of miners and families who once lived here still linger, unable to let go of their forgotten home. Locals speak of ghostly lanterns glowing in the woods, moving slowly toward the old mine shafts. When approached, the lights vanish, leaving behind the smell of burning oil and the echo of distant footsteps. Some visitors have heard the faint sound of pickaxes striking rock beneath the ground, as though the miners continue their work deep below, unaware that more than a century has passed. One chilling encounter involves a woman seen near the remains of an old cabin. Dressed in tattered clothing, she appears to be searching for someone, then fades when spoken to. A few campers claim to have heard whispers near their tents at night, names being called softly, followed by the sound of weeping that grows fainter until morning. Others have seen shadowy figures standing near the abandoned mine entrance, watching silently before melting into the fog. The air there is said to turn colder than ice. Some locals avoid the area entirely, saying that the spirits grow restless when disturbed. The ghost town of Mandan remains one of Michigan's most haunted ruins, a place where time has stopped, and the echoes of lost lives still wander among the ruins of a once thriving mining dream. Number 8. Fort Holmes. Fort Holmes, perched high on Mackinac Island, Michigan, stands as one of the most haunted ruins in the state. Originally built during the War of 1812, this small wooden fort was a lookout point and defensive stronghold. Today, it is little more than reconstructed walls and silent grounds, yet beneath its peaceful exterior lies a dark and unsettling energy. Visitors say the ghosts of soldiers who fought and died here still guard the fort, trapped between history and eternity. Many who visit after dusk have reported seeing ghostly soldiers marching across the hill, their bayonets gleaming in the moonlight before they vanish into thin air. One haunting presence is that of a lone sentry who stands by the entrance. He appears solid until approached, then fades into a mist that chills the air. Some believe he still stands watch, forever waiting for orders that never came. Others claim to hear the faint sound of drums and gunfire echoing from nowhere, as if a long-lost battle replays itself on stormy nights. The noise rises, then dies suddenly, leaving behind an eerie silence. A local legend tells of a British officer seen pacing near the ramparts, his face pale and expression sorrowful. Witnesses say he removes his hat and disappears when the wind begins to howl. Visitors exploring the ruins alone have felt unseen hands push them or tug at their clothes, followed by whispers urging them to leave. Some even describe a cold mist rising from the ground at sunrise, forming faint outlines of fallen soldiers. Fort Holmes remains one of Michigan's most haunted ruins, a place where courage, tragedy, and restless spirits forever linger atop Mackinac Island's windswept hill. Number 9. Prehistoric Forest Amusement Park. The Prehistoric Forest Amusement Park in Michigan, once filled with the laughter of children and the roars of life-size dinosaurs, now lies silent and swallowed by nature. Located near Onstead, it opened in the 1960s as a family attraction featuring giant fiberglass dinosaurs, cavemen, and jungle trails. When it closed, time began to reclaim it. The crumbling sculptures, broken walkways, and eerie silence have turned this forgotten park into one of Michigan's most unsettling and haunted ruins. Visitors often claim to hear the faint laughter of children echoing through the empty paths, though the park has been abandoned for years. The sound drifts through the trees, growing louder before fading suddenly, leaving only the rustle of leaves. Some explorers have reported seeing the glowing eyes of the dinosaur statues flicker at night, as if something unseen moves behind them, watching quietly from the darkness. A caretaker once swore he saw a shadowy figure walking among the dinosaurs late one evening, tall, silent, and not quite human. When he called out, the figure disappeared, leaving deep footprints in the mud. Another strange incident involves the sound of mechanical growls and footsteps echoing from the ruined jungle exhibit. Even though the animatronics have been broken for decades, a few people have spoken of a woman's ghost wandering the entrance road, said to be a former visitor who vanished one stormy night. Her pale face appears in car mirrors before vanishing into thin air. Others describe a sudden chill that sweeps through the forest, followed by whispers that seem to come from the trees themselves. The prehistoric forest amusement park remains a haunting ruin, a place where fake monsters have faded, but real spirits may still roam. Number 10. Fayette Ghost Town. Fayette Ghost Town, located on the Garden Peninsula in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, stands frozen in time, a haunting reminder of a once thriving 19th-century iron smelting community. Between 1867 and 1891, hundreds of workers lived and toiled here, surrounded by smoke, fire, and the noise of heavy machinery. Today, the town's weathered buildings, rusted furnaces, and empty homes overlook Lake Michigan in eerie silence. Visitors say Fayette isn't truly empty. The spirits of its hard-working residents still linger among the ruins. One recurring apparition is a soot-covered miner seen wandering near the old furnace. His footsteps echo faintly, and some claim to smell burning coal whenever he appears. He never speaks, only vanishes into the smoke that seems to rise from nowhere. Another presence is a woman in a long dress who appears near the shoreline at dusk. Locals believe she waits for her husband, a sailor who drowned delivering supplies to the town. Her figure glows faintly before fading into the waves. Visitors exploring the old hotel have reported hearing faint piano music and laughter, as though guests from another century still enjoy their evening. Yet when the door is opened, only silence greets them. Some campers near the site say they've woken to the sound of hammering and men's voices working through the night, though the furnaces have been cold for more than a century. A park ranger once described seeing a ghostly child running between cabins, giggling softly before disappearing into the tall grass. Others have felt a sudden drop in temperature near the old smelting building, followed by whispers too faint to understand. Fayette Ghost Town remains one of Michigan's most haunted ruins, a place where the past refuses to rest, and history still breathes through the shadows. Number 11. Vanity Ballroom. The Vanity Ballroom in Detroit, once a dazzling hotspot for jazz music and dancing, now stands as a silent ruin echoing with eerie memories of its glamorous past. Built in 1929, this grand Art Deco structure once welcomed thousands of music lovers beneath its glowing chandeliers and mirrored walls. Today, its cracked floors, broken glass, and faded murals tell a darker story, a story of restless spirits and forgotten dreams that never truly left the ballroom. Visitors say that on quiet nights, faint jazz music drifts through the decaying halls. Some claim to hear the sound of shuffling feet and laughter, as if ghostly dancers still twirl across the ruined dance floor. Many believe these are the souls of couples who never left, bound forever to the rhythm that once brought them joy. One terrifying tale tells of a woman in a glittering gold dress who appears in mirrors and vanishes when approached. Another story speaks of a former bandleader whose trumpet can be heard echoing through the rafters, playing a song no one can identify. Explorers have also reported the chilling sight of empty tables suddenly set with phantom glasses and plates, as if preparing for an endless party that will never begin. Some say the spirit of a young man who fell from the balcony lingers near the stage, his whisper asking, "Is the music still playing?" Security guards once refused to patrol the building alone after seeing strange lights flickering without power and shadows dancing against the walls. Even from the street, passers-by feel the pull of something watching from the upper windows. Perhaps the ghosts of Detroit's forgotten nightlife still waiting for one last song to end. Number 12. Traverse City State Hospital. The Traverse City State Hospital in Michigan stands as one of the most chilling and haunted ruins in the state. Once a grand asylum built in the late 1800s, it was designed to heal the sick with kindness and light. Today, its long, echoing hallways and crumbling wards tell a darker story. The abandoned buildings are filled with peeling paint, rusted beds, and whispers that seem to rise from the walls themselves. Locals say that at night, the old corridors come alive with strange footsteps and faint cries. Many believe these sounds come from former patients who suffered during experimental treatments and never found peace. Some visitors have seen figures dressed in hospital gowns, drifting silently through the halls before vanishing into the shadows. One chilling account describes a nurse who still walks the upper floors, holding a lantern and calling the names of patients long dead. Another eerie encounter involves a crying child's voice echoing from the empty children's ward, though no one is there. People exploring the tunnels beneath the hospital often report a cold presence following them, with whispers urging them to go back. Some claim to have seen handprints appear on dusty walls, as if unseen spirits reach out from the past. A former caretaker once told of hearing the hospital piano play by itself late at night, the same melody repeated again and again. Visitors also describe the uneasy feeling of being watched, as though the souls of lost patients still linger in search of peace. Even as the hospital's ruins are slowly reclaimed by nature, the air remains heavy with sorrow and mystery. The spirits of Traverse City State Hospital refuse to be forgotten, forever haunting the ruins where their pain once lived. Number 13. Ruins of Fisher Body Plant 21. The ruins of Fisher Body Plant 21 in Detroit stand as a haunting reminder of the city's once thriving automotive glory. Built in 1919, this massive factory once echoed with the clang of machines and the rhythm of thousands of workers building car bodies for General Motors. Now, its towering walls are covered in graffiti, its windows shattered, and silence rules the empty production lines. Yet, many believe the plant is far from deserted. Strange things are said to happen here after dark. Visitors often speak of the eerie sound of metal clanging, even though the machinery has been gone for decades. Some claim these noises are echoes of the factory's busiest days, trapped in time, endlessly replaying. Others believe they are the restless spirits of workers who lost their lives in tragic accidents, still going through their daily routine in death. A night guard once quit after seeing shadowy figures walking along the upper catwalks, their boots thudding on steel that should have rusted through long ago. Another chilling incident involved an explorer who heard heavy breathing behind him, though he was completely alone. One of the creepiest accounts tells of a man's scream that echoes from the elevator shafts, said to be the ghost of a mechanic who fell to his death. People have also spotted glowing eyes peering through broken windows, only to vanish when approached. Cold drafts, flickering lights, and sudden footsteps are common among thrill-seekers who dare to enter. Even locals avoid walking near the plant at night, believing it's cursed by decades of industrial pain. The Fisher Body Plant 21 remains a ruin frozen in Detroit's haunted past, where the spirits of industry seem unwilling to clock out for eternity.